Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started so that we can be respectful of everybody's time and get you home and get you some dinner if you haven't enjoyed some of the snacks back there already. Welcome, my name is Alec Pointer. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Grimes County Republican Party on behalf of myself, our Chairwoman Susan Patrick, the party, and the Republican women. I'd like to thank you for attending. We've got a great show for you. I don't know how many of you came out Sunday when it was really, really cold, but we had a great time then too. I do want to thank the Republican women again for providing the snacks and co-hosting. I mean, if you don't have plans for dinner, it looks like there's still some pizza back there. So we've got a great time there. A few things that I want to remind everybody about. Right as you walked in, we had a table where Marilyn Bettis was sitting, and she is able to get you tickets to the Republican Reagan dinner, and that is February the 3rd. And so if you need tables or you need seats, you can walk back there and get them on your way out. Right over here, we have a table that Lynn is sitting at that we can get you registered to vote. If you're not registered, if you have any changes that you need to make to your registration, she can help you with that. The last day to vote is February, or last day to register to vote is February the 5th, so that you can vote in the primary, which is March 5th. It is something that I said last forum, but I'll say it again. It is imperative that you vote on March 5th. This is the first time that you'll get to make your voice heard on a national level, and because we're such a heavily Republican county, it will be really the only time that you get to make your voice heard in most of the countywide and county elections. Whoever wins the Republican primary is going to be that office holder. So this is the time that you have to make your voice heard. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Matt Vaughn to come on up, and we're going to ask him to deliver our invocation, and then after that I'll introduce our moderator, and we'll get started.
It all has to be adjusted. Y'all know that. Well, boy, what a motley looking crew. But we're all here for a reason. We know how important this election is going to be. If we don't oust who's in the White House and the rest of his cronies, we're in sad shape. So we better encourage people to vote. Better encourage people to educate themselves on the issues and not listen to a lot of the other, I use an ecumenical word, crapola. So, used in all denominations, by the way. Well, let's pray. Oh, dear God, what a mess our state is in right now. What a mess our country and our world is right now. What a mess the Far East is, the Israels of the world, your chosen people. God, we just speak directly to the darkness, the confusion that we're experiencing now across this land. We ask, oh God, that we know Scriptures say that it's a spiritual battle that we're waging right now, and we need to be prepared more than anything else. This election locally is very important as well. I just pray that the candidates respond with grace and straightforward in their answers. God, we just thank you. Thank you for our fine country. Thank you for our state. Thank you for the leadership we have in this state, God, that speaks directly and reacts directly to our needs. As we prepare this evening, let us have open ears and open hearts to hear and to feel. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so I would like to introduce Kenny Graves, our moderator for the night, from Willie 1550 AM and 98.7 FM. While he's walking up, I do want to let you know that our questions were solicited and received from residents of Grimes County, and a committee of us sat down and combined them and changed a few words here and there so that we got all of those questions into just a few, or as much as we could. Candidates, I'll remind you of the rules. There's no mudslinging or attacking the other candidates. We expect that you will finish your sentence and answer, end your answer when the timekeeper calls time. Kenny will let you know before the question how much time there is. We've got 2 timekeepers down here. The yellow card means you've got 10 seconds left. The red card says you're done, finish up. We are on a tight schedule, so please adhere to those. Please feel free to get some more snacks if you need to, but we do ask that if you have a conversation, please step outside. It's a lot warmer today than it was Sunday, so we'll be a little bit tighter with that. So we will go ahead and get started. Precinct 1 Commissioner candidates, please come on up and sit up here. We moved the table from down here to up here directly because you told us y'all couldn't see. So we listened. So while they're getting on up, I'll turn it over to Kenny.
Appreciate everyone. This microphone is very sensitive. Thank you all for coming out and being a part of a process that a lot of times we take for granted. And thank you to all of the candidates for being a part as well. For Precinct 1 up here, we have Chad Mallett and Jill Shopper. And we'll begin with an opening statement right now. 3 minutes, please. And we'll start with Mr. Mallett. Please introduce yourself, include why you're running for Precinct 1 Commissioner. Microphone.
I messed up.
Well, your time hasn't started yet, so you're okay.
I'm probably not going to use it all.
My name is Chad Mallett, and first I want to start off by saying it's been a great honor and privilege to serve as your commissioner since being appointed in July of 2015. Born and raised in Iowa, family, 5th generation there. Graduated from Texas A&M University. I'll be happy to say here. With a degree in civil engineering. I'm a licensed professional engineer. Prior to being appointed commissioner, I served on the Iowa School Board for 13 years. I want to continue to serve the citizens of Grimes County by keeping the tax rate low and also adding services to the county, maybe including roadways and sheriff's department. Want to add additional deputies because I know that's definitely needed.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shopper, 3 minutes for you, sir.
Okay, great. My name is Dale Sharper. I'm currently your elected constable for Precinct 1. I've held that position for the past 20 years now. Prior to that, I was in the military, the Air Force, Reserves. After that, I was in law enforcement for the past 50-something years. I've always dedicated my life to community service, be it the country or my community. Luckily, I've never had an opponent as the constable. These 1 or 2 things that Once it or I'm doing a pretty good job. I hope you think it's the latter. I don't know if I should spell my correct spelling on my last name or not. Spell it correct. We'll get that straight now. Like I said, it's been an honor and privilege to be your constable for the last 20 years. And according to the Grimes County historians, I'm the longest serving constable in the history of Grimes County. And that's something I'm kind of extremely proud of. I've kind of reached the point in my career where I think it's time for me to step down as constable, let someone a little bit younger, Mr. Ellis, take over it for me. But I still would like to serve my community. I don't know if y'all heard the sheriff's race the other day, but all three of them talked about public service or service to your community. And that's something that's a real thing. It's in your blood, and you just want to give back to your community, and that's where I'm at. I'm not.
I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not up here to make any promises. I'm not going to promise to fix your road or nothing like that. I'm not going to make any promises to get your vote. But I will promise you this: I'll be a full-time commissioner. I'll promise you that that'll be my only job. I will continue to maintain my office at the. I will annex like I've done for the last 20 years. I'll always respond to your calls. I'll represent you in Commissioner's Court. I have no agenda other than to represent the citizens of Precinct 1. Based on my law enforcement experience, I'm totally 100% pro law enforcement and first responders. I look forward to if I'm elected to serve in that capacity on Commissioner's Court. I think I'll offer some valid insight to that. Mr. Mellon just spoke, talked about increasing the deputies for the patrol units.
10 minutes. 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
10 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, I'm in favor of that, but I'd like to see more increase in the constable's office. They're the first closest elected law enforcement position to the community. Thank you.
Mr. Shopper, we'll stay with you, sir, on the next question. It's a 2-minute response, please. What is the job of a commissioner?
I think the main job for the commissioner would be, my perception is to represent the constituents of their precinct. And that's what I plan on doing. You know, regardless of how I feel about a particular issue, I'm not going to vote that way. I'm going to vote the way my constituents feel. You know, that to me is that position of the commissioner is to represent their constituents in that particular precinct. I look forward to doing that if I'm
Thank you. Mr. Mallett, 2 minutes. What is the job of a commissioner?
The job of the commissioner is as a representative of the citizens in your precinct to set a budget that's required for all departments and elected officials in the county, so that they're able to take care of the needs as a county, and just to make sure to be a steward, a good steward of the taxpayers' money.
Thank you very much. We'll stay with you, Mr. Mallett. If re-elected, how much time will you spend doing the job of commissioner?
Technically, it's a 24-hour-a-day job. I mean, I have my cell phone with me. I've got cards back there on the table. I'm always there. Any calls that are needed. There's a lot of research done as far as representatives of other counties and how they handle certain things. I try to make a habit of traveling all the roads. Precinct 1 is the biggest one. Probably about 280 miles of county road. I try to get every mile on there at least twice a year. So when somebody does call me or if I notice anything that main thing is to, try to stay in contact with as many departments as you can as well, and assess their needs throughout the year. I believe that's about it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shopper, 2 minutes to you now. How much time will you spend doing the job of commissioner if elected?
Well, like I said in my opening statement, it's a big full-time job, it's my only job. The job I have now is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. I'm on call, I receive calls all hours of the day, middle of the night, I respond accordingly. Like the Commissioner Mallett said, we're not over the roads per se. The county doesn't have a road engineer, but we can, and I do travel the roads quite frequently. And you can report that, road condition to a particular department head, namely, intend on visiting with the employees of the precinct, to find out what their needs are, and, be there 24/7.
We'll stay with you first on this question, Mr. Shopper. Well, it's a 2-minute response. What qualifies you to be the Precinct 1 Commissioner?
I think my main qualification is the past 20 years that I've acted as the constable for Grimes County. I've seen the ins and outs workings of the county. I've studied at Sam Houston University. I majored in criminal justice. So I think that my presence on the Commissioner's Court will be a valuable asset to the law enforcement community.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mallett, the same question to you. 2 minutes. What qualifies you to be the Precinct 1 Commissioner?
I believe my background, as an engineer kind of helps from the road and bridge, standpoint. I'm also, did a lot of design for subdivisions. I think that's gonna be a major thing coming up with the growth of the county. We're in the process of revising our subdivision regulations and thoroughfare plans. I think that'll be a very beneficial, on the Commissioner's Court, helping with that. And just the time that I've spent, doing the job. I think I've done a pretty good job of representing citizens in Precinct 1. And also my time, serving, on the, Alva School Board. Budget's not quite what it is for the county, but, it's still understanding the tax rate and the budget process and doing what's best for the citizens.
We'll start with you on the next question, Mr. Mallett. A 2-minute response here. Name your top 3 priorities for Precinct 1 in 2 or 3 words, and then expand on your number 1 priority.
Well, I think I did kind of mention the subdivision regulations. It's going to impact Precinct 1 a little bit. Right now, it's really going to affect the southern part of the county. I think number 1. Also, the roads in the county. We're on a limited budget, but I'd like to see, we've actually increased the budget since I've been in office from 5.3 to $8.9 million in the road and bridge department. I want to continue to do that as we can to give the road bridge engineer the material and equipment he needs to continue to maintain the county roads. The third would be the sheriff's department. With the sheriff's department and jail, while I've been on Commissioner's Court, we've actually increased sheriff's department and jail from, I believe it was 3.9 to $6.4 million. We need to continue to add deputies to help with the growing county, as well as continue to we did a study previously about salary survey. We want to be competitive to hold on to those deputies, hold on to the people in the road and bridge, and just the county's employees in general. I believe I touched base on all that.
Mr. Shopper, 2 minutes to you now. Name your top 3 priorities for Precinct 1 in 2 or 3 words, and then expand on your number 1 priority.
Certainly. My top priority would be not to increase the tax rate for the citizens. Secondly would be public service.
Speak into the microphone, please.
Not to increase the tax rate for the citizens. Can you hear me? Okay, secondly would be the increased public service. And thirdly would be sections just to represent the citizens. My top priority would be the public service aspect of it. And like I said earlier, yes, we need more deputies. Personally, because of my background, I'm in favor of increasing the deputies to the constable's office. I think they're the closest ones there are to the citizens that live in the community. Additionally, with public service, what I would like to see, touch on what Commissioner Mallett talked about with these subdivision ordinances, is to require the subdivisions to put in what they call flock camera systems. They're license plate reader systems. I think Minnesota just did that to their subdivision ordinance. Is that is my understanding. But that's a tremendous asset to the law enforcement. Most of you may or may not remember the incident that occurred up in Centerville last year, where the escaped convict had gone up and killed 5 individuals. And that's how they were able to capture him that night. They had these flock camera systems throughout the state of Texas, so they were able to track him wherever he went. That's where they knew where he was going, and that's why they were able to catch him in San Antonio.
Thank you, sir. We'll stay with you first on the next question, Mr. Shopper. 3 minutes response on this one. Will you commit to keeping our taxes low? How will you approach managing property tax rate and revenue?
Here again, that's one of my top 3 priorities. So, yes, absolutely. I think our taxes are where they should be. I think with the increased growth, with the subdivisions that we have coming into the county, that will offset any needs in increasing the tax rate. Repeat that question.
Will you commit to keeping taxes low?
Yes.
How will you approach managing property tax rate and revenue?
Yes, I want to keep them where they're at. I'm a property owner. I pay taxes like everyone else in the room does. I think by just being a very conservative steward of the taxpayers' money is the way to say.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Mallett? 3 minutes to you now. Will you commit to keeping our taxes low? How will you approach managing property tax rate and revenue?
As a commissioner, while I served, we only lowered or kept the property tax rate the same. Over the last 3 years, I believe 3 years, we've lowered it each time. I think in this past year, I did a little analysis. If you have a $200,000 home, from last year to this year, you paid an extra $30 in county taxes. I definitely will continue to keep that low. With the new development, there's going to be new taxes coming in, so that revenue should help increase those services that are required in those developments areas. And yes, I definitely would pledge to keep the tax, property taxes low.
And we'll start with you on the next one, Mr. Mallett. A 1 minute response time for this one. How much do you believe county revenue should grow over the no additional revenue tax rate each year?
The state has pretty much mandated a 3.5% increase for no new revenue taxes. I believe we can definitely go below that. We cannot go above that. So the state's kind of restricted us on what we can do as a county. But definitely want to keep it as low as possible.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shopper, 1 minute to you now. How much do you believe county revenue should grow over the no additional revenue tax rate each year?
Not quite sure I understand the question. How much it should grow, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's the way it's worded.
It should grow enough to keep up with the needs of the citizens of the county. I mean, I don't think the tax rate should increase. It doesn't seem like the taxes increase, they just, seems that they just increase the valuation of your home. Therefore, it does cost you more money. As far as putting a figure on how much it should increase, I can't do that at this point in time.
Thank you, sir. We'll begin with you, Mr. Shopper, on the next question. 1 minute response here. What are your thoughts regarding zero-based budgeting?
I'm assuming that you're talking about starting over at zero base each fiscal year, starting at nothing and increasing. I'm not in favor of that. I'm in favor of allowing you to, if you have monies that you hadn't used for this fiscal year, let it carry over to next fiscal year. What that system we have now, you either use it or lose it, and I think that creates to some extent some waste. Whereas if you allow that money to carry over from year to year, I think it would be beneficial to the county.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mallett, now 1 minute to you. What are your thoughts regarding zero-based budgeting?
I've actually never heard of that term. I'm assuming it would be based on zero from what the previous year's budget was. With inflation, I don't believe that's a good goal to have. As commissioners, when we go over each department's budget, we kind of base things on what was spent the year before, what the needs are in the department, what they foresee might be needed in the future. And we want to make sure that each department, each elected official has what they need to do, what the funds that they need in order to take care of the citizens. So, I mean, I think it's a process that we want to, oh, sorry.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mallett, we'll begin with you on the next question. This will be a 2-minute response. What is your goal for the roads in Precinct 1? What is the commissioner's role in paving and repairing our roads?
My goal in Precinct 1 is to have every ditch dug so we have proper drainage. Our biggest problem right now is those that we have dug out are beginning to seal back in. We put product, backspace on the roads. And if the ditches aren't there, a good storm comes down and all of it ends up in the ditches. What was the second part of that question?
Second part, what is a commissioner's role in paving and repairing our roads?
The commissioner's role is basically one of 5. 4 commissioners and a judge that oversee the county engineer. It's 100% on the county engineer's responsibility to take care of the roads in Precinct 1. I definitely look forward to working with our new county engineer to designate priorities. Roads need attention first.
Thank you. Mr. Shopper, 2 minutes to you, sir. What is your goal for the roads in Precinct 1, and what is the commissioner's role in paving and repairing our roads?
First off, let me start off by saying I'm glad I'm not the only one who's never heard of the zero-based budget. The road commissioner, as far as the roads, I don't know, it several years, probably 15 years ago, the county voted to have a road engineer system rather than the commissioner being in charge of the precinct. With that being said, I've seen the same material used for the same 15 years, and the same thing happens to that material. You drive over it, it gets dusty in the summertime and blows off, and then when it rains, it washes off, and our ditches are full. Here again, I don't think, I might be wrong, but I don't think the commissioner has say-so over the roads, but that's not to say we can't work with the road engineer. I know and particularly in the Beat Eyes area, most of our roads are not paved, and I agree with Commissioner Mallett that if the ditches were maintained, it would certainly improve the conditions of the roads. But the roads are, here again, that's a public safety issue. You know, I've been in situations where law enforcement could not even get down the road to assist someone in need because the roads were so bad. So they do need some attention, but I think we do have the new road engineer, and working with him is what I can certainly try to do.
Thank you. Mr. Shopper, we'll begin with you on the next question, sir. A 1-minute response. Would you vote for road bonds?
That would be up to the citizens, it's not up to the commissioner. I think the bond issue would have to go out for all votes. Would I vote for a road bond? I'm not inclined to do that this whole time.
Thank you. Mr. Mallett, 1 minute to you, sir. Would you vote for road bonds?
That wouldn't be up to the commissioner's court. That would be a citizen driven bond. It would be up to the commissioner's court to approve an election for that if they were to set up a road district. But no, it wouldn't be the responsibility of the commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mallett, we'll begin with you on the next question. A 1-minute response time. How can you increase transparency and accountability specifically about which roads are being paved and how much it will cost?
In previous county engineers, there was actually a priority list with roads that were going to be paved as a plan. I believe our new county engineer, he's structure based that way. I'm pretty sure he's going to have a list of roads, how many miles each road, and he's going to have a projected, at least probably 5 years out, which roads are planned to be done.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shopper, 1 minute to you, sir. How can you increase transparency and accountability specifically about which roads are being paved and how much it will cost?
Repeat that question one more time.
How can you increase transparency and accountability specifically about which roads are being paved and how much it will cost?
I think one road would be to put it on the county's website as to the projected roads to be paved. I think it needs to be prioritized based on the amount of traffic that particular road has. You know, roads in the north end of the county, they need some attention.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shopper, we'll begin with you on the next question. A 1-minute response time. As a commissioner, what would be your plan to improve accessibility and responsiveness to constituents?
I've had the same phone number for 30 years. I'd be willing to say probably half of you in the audience have my phone number. I'm always available. That's pretty much it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mallett, 1 minute to you. As a commissioner, what would be your plan to improve accessibility and responsiveness to constituents?
My phone number is on the website. Like I said, I've got business cards there at the table. I welcome any input, any complaints. I'm always there to discuss anything that's on the citizens' minds.
Thank you, sir. We'll begin with you, Mr. Mallett. 2-minute response time here on this question. As Grimes County grows, our revenue will increase. How would you like to see that new revenue allocated?
I'd like to see it in 2 departments specifically, Road and Bridge and the Sheriff's Department. Those are the 2 departments that most directly impact the citizens of Grimes County. There are a lot of important departments that are in the county, but I think those are the ones that most directly impact the citizens.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shopper, 2 minutes to you. As Grimes County grows, our revenue will increase. How would you like to see that new revenue allocated?
I would like to see the new revenue allocated into the public service arena. I think with the future growth is gonna come from new subdivisions. I think the county commissioners court can enact the ordinances that require the new subdivisions to have good roads before we accept them into the system. Yes, the road and bridges, roads are a concern. My number 1 concern would be for the increase in public service.
Thank you very much. Time out for our closing remarks. It'll be for 2 minutes each, and you get to keep the microphone. You go right ahead. 2 minutes for you, sir.
Okay. Thank y'all for coming out, number 1. Secondly, it's been a truly honor to have served y'all for the last 20 years as your constable. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not gonna promise anyone anything just to get their vote. The only thing I will promise you is that it will be a full-time job. I will not be running another business. I promise that I will answer my phone. I promise that I will maintain my office where it's been located for the last 20 years. I promise to represent the constituents to the best of my ability. I promise not to accept any campaign funds. I haven't done so, nor will I accept any monies. And I promise you that you'll never hear me say anything negative about Mr. Mallett.
Appreciate that. Closing statement, 2 minutes to you, Mr. Mallett.
I also want to thank everyone for coming out. It's important to really get to know the candidates. I hope a lot of you out there know me. I've been here since 2015. I believe with my background and knowledge regarding the tax rates, regarding the budget process, and just my experiences and my voting record, to show that I'm conservative as far as keeping the tax rate low, keeping the taxes low, but also trying to provide the services necessary to run the county. Thank you.
Thank you both, gentlemen, very much.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Now we're going to hear from James Ellis, who's running for Precinct 1 Constable. He's unopposed, so we're going to give him 3 minutes up here at this microphone. This is a lot more, more sensitive than this microphone. So candidates, when you come up to here and speak, you almost need to be eating that microphone. So.
Hello, everybody. First and foremost, just want to say I really appreciate everybody coming out. I think it's very important that every voter in Grimes County be as informed as possible before you're making your decisions on election day. So this has been a fantastic opportunity and venue to do such. I was also here Sunday for the other forum that was held, and just to everybody, your hard work in putting this together, it's been wonderful, so we appreciate that. So my name is James Ellis. I am running uncontested for the Precinct 1 Constable's office here in Grimes County. My family and I came to Grimes County in 1998. I finished elementary and junior high school here in Anderson, and my family moved to the Iowa community where I graduated high school. Met the love of my life. My wife is in the back of the room back here. We've been together for 16 years. We got a 7-year-old little boy. Didn't want to bring him. He would be too much of a distraction for everybody. But she's also right at 35 weeks pregnant. So we're fixing to have our second little boy. He's almost here. So she's just been my inspiration in everything that I've done in life. So I appreciate her. So I began my law enforcement career here in Grimes County shortly after graduating high school. I hired on under Sheriff Sal. I worked in the jail for about 1.5 years before I transferred into dispatch. I helped out in dispatch for about 6 months or so before attending the police academy. I graduated from the police academy in 2009, where I came out, immediately started my patrol career here in Grimes County. Served as a patrol deputy for several years before eventually being promoted to patrol sergeant, where I oversaw the day-to-day operations and activities of our patrol division. During my tenure on patrol, I received numerous certifications. I'm a mental health peace officer. I got my certification through the FBI for hostage and crisis negotiations. I'm a TCOL instructor. I'm a firearms instructor. I'm a taser instructor. I'm a less lethal munitions instructor. I've also obtained my basic SWAT operator license. I see some Snickers here. I was about 40 pounds ago. And also have my advanced peace officer license. I'll be eligible for my master's in December of this year. I was promoted to our criminal investigations division here with the sheriff's office back in 2016. Served in that position. My initial case objectives at that time were crimes against children. And then I also promoted to the CID lieutenant position in 2019, where I served until my departure. In October 2022, I transferred up to the constable's office. I fulfilled his deputy position, where I've been, and it's just given me a great opportunity to serve under Constable Sharper, and it's given me the opportunity to learn that position. So I'm excited for this new opportunity. I hope to serve you in this capacity for many years to come. And obviously, I'll stick around afterwards in the event anybody has any questions. I've got some business cards with my contact information as well. Thank you.
All right, now we will hear from Precinct 2 Constable, who is also unopposed, Blake Jarvis.
Good evening. Proud of James Ellis. I don't know if I'm getting old, but it's rewarding to see him grow up, and hope I helped mentor him and train him and gave him the ability to get where he's at. So I'm Blake Jarvis. I'm your constable, Precinct 2. This is I'm seeking my 3rd term. I'm here tonight with my lovely wife, Aleda, in the back, and my son, Landon, who's just turned 18 today. So I started out my career here in Grimes County. Been born and raised here all my life. Started out at the sheriff's office. I was a 19-year-old kid. I worked, I believe, in every position in law enforcement here in the county. Started out in the jail, worked my way to patrol. I went to narcotics. I was on the narcotics task force for 4 years, I believe, from 2001 to 2005. Appreciate Sarah Sal for nominating me and giving me the opportunity to go to Brazos Narcotics Task Force. I truly believe that helped me in my career. I've developed a ton of contacts in narcotics. It's probably the highlight of my whole career of being in that division. Came back from narcotics, was on patrol for a while, then I got promoted to investigations. I ran investigations till I became the constable, took George Wells' position. Whenever I became constable, Dale could speak, and myself, Wes was also the constable. He was appointed. We had no deputies. And I really want to thank the commissioners, Joe Fowle, the Commissioner's Court, for giving us deputies. I started off with the first deputies in Grimes County to bailiff the courts. From there, we developed a traffic officer that goes out and does a lot of traffic enforcement. He works a ton of accidents with the sheriff's office. Right now, my office, we're over 4 courts: County Court of Law, JP Court, CPS Court, and AG Court. So we have to bailiff and make sure we get courtroom security for all 4 of those courts. Whenever we're not doing that, we're taking calls of service with civil calls and assisting, like I said, with traffic control, accidents. We serve a ton of papers. Again, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. I'm seeking my 3rd term. Mr. Sharper, I believe you might hold the record. I don't know who's gonna make it. I have 25 years in now. I don't know if I'll be able to catch you with 20 years of service as constable, but congratulations for you for doing that. Thank y'all.
All right, if the candidates for Commissioner 3, Precinct 3 Commissioner can come on up, we'll get that started. And then after that, we're going to take a 5-minute break. So we'll hear their quorum and then we'll take a break.
While they're coming, Judge Valve, would you stand up and lead us in happy birthday to Landon? Please.
With my voice, absolutely, Johnny, happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Landon. Happy birthday to you.
Anything we can do to embarrass you guys.
Next up, we'll be talking with Precinct 3 Commissioner candidates, Michael Raska and Brad Swartz. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. We'll start with the opening statements. This will be 3-minute response times here. And we'll start with Mr. Raska. Please introduce yourself to us. Include why you're running for Precinct 3 Commissioner.
Hello, my name is Michael Raska. Been in Navasota for about the last 50 years, graduated in the class of 81. Had my own business now about 40 years. And I moved in Precinct 3 about 6 years ago. And it's just a town in Navasota, you know, what brought me to try to be running for commissioner. I think Precinct 3 out there, we need some help. It's growing, and I think it needs some more improvement. But I mean, everywhere you look, the town is growing. The police department, man, is growing. And they need help. The fire department need help, and everything else. And I think I'm the person that can help. I'll get out and hustle. I've run these roads all day long. I'm on call 24 hours already. If you don't have my telephone, something's wrong with you. That's where I am. I'm not a yes man. I'm a person that go out and help. You know, I believe it. That's where I was raised. My life, you know, need something, call me. I try to be there for you. I can't be there all the time, but I'm there most of the time. And like, I appreciate y'all coming out. You know, y'all was here Saturday. I didn't get the grandbaby in Houston because of the bad weather. You know, we just can't be everywhere at one time. I understand that too.
Thank you, sir. 3 minutes to you now, Mr. Swartz. Opening statement. Please introduce yourself to us and include why you're running for Precinct 3 Commissioner.
All right, well, I appreciate y'all coming out. My name is Brad Swartz. I actually moved to Navasota just after my 6th grade year back in the early 80s. Met my current wife, my high school sweetheart. Moved away from Navasota for a bit, always maintained family and friend connections here in town. But we did move. We moved to Florida for a little bit, moved to Alabama for a while. And about 14 years ago, we decided it's time to come back home. You know, my wife still had family here. I still have family around here. We wanted to raise our kids here in Navasota. We've got 2 daughters. Both my daughters graduated from Navasota High School. One of them nurses who live here locally. Why I want to be a commissioner, I'm currently employed at Navasota High School or Navasota Junior High, I'm sorry, but I've been working with kids for so long and being involved in the growth of the youth of the community. I really felt like with all the growth that is coming to Navasota and to Grimes County, that the next logical step was to be involved in the growth of the community. To see how our young people are going to blossom and have the opportunities available for the future.
Thank you, sir. We'll start with you on the next question there, Mr. Schwartz. This will be a 2-minute response, and it's a multi-part question. In your opinion, what is the job of a commissioner, and are they more accountable to the people of their district or to the county as a whole?
I think first and foremost, the job of a commissioner is to be a fair representative of the people of the county or of the precinct. Certainly, part of the commissioner duties involves being good stewards of taxpayer money, those types of things. And I think that ultimately, and being in a particular precinct, you have to make sure that you're accountable to the people that put you in place. And like I said, just be a fair representative of the people that elect you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Raska, 2 minutes to you, sir. Same question. In your opinion, what is the job of a commissioner, and are they more accountable to the people of their district or the county as a whole?
First of all, precinct 3 people will be my people. They're the ones that voted with me, and then I will go out and try to do the best to help the other precincts if they need help in voting and stuff like that. And the main thing about precinct 3, when they call on me, I will have a duty to do. If they need help doing something, or I can help them do something, I always say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But there's a lot of stuff that needs fixing, and we all know that. That's why we go out and vote. Try to get money from doing this and all that, and I think if I get voted in, I'm not a yes ma'am, like I said before, and I'll be out there to help everybody and give everybody a fair shake when they have something need to be done.
Thank you, sir. We'll stay with you to start the next question, Mr. Raska. A 2-minute response. What experience do you have that qualifies you for the office of commissioner?
Me being in business, if y'all all know me, I got a telephone and it don't stop ringing. I'm on it 24 hours a day. If you need me, you can call me. Sometimes I might give you a stupid answer you might not want to hear. If your car, it might not need to be done till the next day. So why would I want to get out at 2 o'clock in the morning, take your car to the dealership when they're not open? I ride around on these county roads, and in the city too, precinct 3 is part of the city. When you jump the red light and you take go the other way towards Brenham, that's all precinct 3. And we need help on roads. We got to go through the procedures though to do it. Out in the county, the fire departments, police departments, sheriff's departments, we all kind of need to help. And there's certain ways we have to do that. We just can't go up and say, yeah, we can help. We got to go through legal procedures. I think we got a beautiful place to live in this county. I mean, we don't have no bad weather. Don't never get cold except this past weekend we had some ice, but it's a certain time of the year we got to deal with all this. And like I said again, precinct 3, that was my main concern to be working for. And the rest of the county, I would have to adopt to help them too when they need me.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Schwartz, 2 minutes to you, sir. What experience do you have that qualifies you for the office of commissioner?
I guess experience-wise, prior to getting into education about 14 years ago when we moved back home, I did have another career. I spent 20 years in the automotive, motorcycle, power sports business. Was a small business owner, So I've got, experience from the business side of things, but I think most recently, being involved in the schools, I'm very familiar with working with taxpayer money. And, I think that the schools, a lot of the things that you do within a school would be very similar to the way commissioners court and, those types of things work as far as like school board. I've been involved with school board, school bonds, those types of things. So I think a lot of that will translate very well into, being a good commissioner.
Thanks, sir. We'll begin with you on the next question. A 1-minute response here, please. What would you implement as commissioner that is not currently being done?
I think that, at least from the people that I've talked to in Precinct 3, the thing that I would implement would be to be a good listener. One of the things that I've heard as I've been out talking to people, and people have been encouraging me to run for this particular position, is that they haven't had a good voice. And I think that, by being a good listener, listening to what people need, identifying some of the concerns, being proactive, I think would certainly help, help the community and help Precinct 3.
Thank you. Mr. Raska, 1 minute to you. What would you implement as commissioner that is not currently being done?
Well, one of my main goals would be the young generation. That's our future, y'all. If we don't get out and help these young people understand the future, what they need to do, and everything else, and make jobs open, in Grimes County. We have jobs, but we can make it more, and we can open some youth centers or something, get these kids off the streets. We used to have curfews around here, and it worked great. When somebody's out at 1, 3 o'clock in the morning, they ain't got no business being out. We know that. You're supposed to be at home in your bed again, and I think that's a hard thing I need to press on too. I had young kids, and they did the same thing, but it got to start at home. We're the main ones that got the future of the kids, we got them at home.
Thanks, sir. We'll start with you now, Mr. Raska, on the next question. A 2-minute response. As a commissioner, what would be your plan to improve accessibility and responsiveness to your constituents?
Ain't too much more I can do about my being out. I have all y'all know I have a towing business already. And I'm always on the telephone, and I'm always on the road. I'm going through these county roads every day. The only visibility I can really do is to get out for public meetings, and let y'all know. And I have my telephone there. If y'all need something, y'all can call me. And I think that's the main concern we have now, the lack of communication between each other. Somebody that get great, that's just like coming up now election time. You can gripe all you want. If you don't go out and vote, you ain't doing no good. You got to vote when you have something to say about something, if it's right or wrong. That's what I would think about. You got to be a on-hands person. You got to get out and want to work to do the job better, especially in Precinct 3.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Schwartz, 2 minutes to you, sir. As a commissioner, what would be your plan to improve accessibility and responsiveness to your constituents?
Well, I think that goes along with what I said before, is that is one of the reasons why I wanted to get involved in this, is that the people want somebody to be a representative of them. They want somebody that's going to listen and be accessible. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm very accessible already. Even in my current position at the junior high. I don't use the 24-hour rule or anything like that. If somebody needs to talk to me, I usually will handle it right then. If I get a message, I'll pick it up. I return my messages. I have no issues putting my cell phone out there, my email, talking to people in person, text, whatever. That is my main priority, is to to be accessible and be out there, you know, to be able to work with people.
Thank you, sir. And we'll start with you on the next question. A 2-minute response here. Will you commit to keeping our taxes low, and how will you approach managing property tax rate and revenue?
You know, I'm probably not any different than most people. I mean, I hate paying taxes. You know, that is not something I'm a huge fan of. That said, I'm also, you know, certainly have a good understanding that to have the things that we need for the community, for the county, you know, taxes are something that we have to have. That said, I do, you know, I'm a fiscal conservative. You know, you're gonna, I think working in the schools, you learn to get more for less. And, you know, I'm not gonna be one that's out there spending money recklessly. You know, I would certainly make sure that it is something that makes sense, it's something that we need, something that's efficient, you know, something that is a necessity. You know, you gotta look at your needs, wants, and affordabilities. So, you know, I would certainly commit to keeping taxes as low as possible. You know, I also think that part of the tax revenue that I know that we're gonna see here soon is in the growth. You know, we've got people moving to this community, to this county. You know, there's not gonna be a whole lot we can do about that. But with that will come, you know, come the opportunity for more revenue. So just gonna have to be responsible.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Raska, 2 minutes to you. I'll repeat this question. Will you commit to keeping our taxes low, and how will you approach managing property tax rate and revenue?
Yes, I will try to keep the taxes low, especially the older generation. I mean, man, my wife, I can give you a name, but she was getting on Social Security, and I can see the benefits that she don't have from not working. And the way the taxes are, they steadily going up every year and every year. You know, yeah, I'm a full believer to try to put a freeze on some of the taxes. And then, you know, we got new houses being built in Browns County every year. And it's, you know, I think it's a good thing if somehow we can kind of budget to put our taxes off on people that live here and start putting them off on the new houses that people are coming in. You know, freeze ours, you know, every year they're going up. Somehow we could get a freeze on them to set a limit on our taxes and you know, the new man, put that over, let him, you know, carry the load on the taxes. You know, I know it won't happen like that, but that's what our voters for. You know, if we don't like something, you know, just get out and vote against it. You know, it's everything we do in this world, you know, you need to vote yes or no, and you don't like it, don't vote for it. You know, I'm a believer about that too, you know. It's money, you know, it's, you know, but they spend it, right, though, I mean, so everybody got to spend. If you own something, you're gonna pay taxes on it. You go down and buy a new car, you still gotta pay taxes on it, so, you know, you wanna ride new, you got to pay for it.
All right, so we'll start with you now, Mr. Raska, on the next question. A 2-minute response time. What need for new facilities, if any, do you foresee for Grimes County during your term, and how should those be paid for?
I think we need new fire station and ambulance service on the west side of Navasota. For one reason, all y'all live by railroad track, y'all know what's going on. Some trains sit here for 30 minutes. How would it feel if one of your people was on the west side of town and a train got blocked and we can't get no ambulance or fire department there to put your fire at your house or get that person to a hospital? You know, I see it, and I listen to it, I got scanners. You know, and it's a bad thing. You know, and like, people, the voters, you know, it's in our budget. You know, I've been there. I've been arguing with people about it all the time. You got 300 new houses being out there for Pecan Lakes. That's $1.5 million if they pay $5,000 a year. So it's in the budget. You know, it's just us, we have to go out and vote for it and get it to be done, you know. And the fire departments, they need help, the city police need help for hiring people. You know, the sheriff's department, we need them all. But we have to vote on it to give them money so they can go out and hire people before we can have all this done.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Schwartz, 2 minutes to you now. What need for new facilities, if any, do you foresee for Grimes County during your term, and how should those be paid for?
I'm gonna agree with Mr. Raska on the need for, you know, fire services on the west side of town. You know, I think there is a lot of growth that has happened over there. And I'm not 100% sure that, you know, with the way things are set up now that, you know, that we're ultimately be as efficient as we can. I would also like to think that, you know, one of the needs that we have in this county, you know, again, you know, working with the kids in the community is juvenile programs. I don't think that, you know, in a lot of ways we do a great job of providing for some of the kids, you know, in the town. You know, I know at Navasota Junior High in particular, we're 82% economically disadvantaged in the school. That is something that we need to address. You know, I think with the new growth that's coming in, you know, with any potential new revenues that are coming in, you know, I think that we need to make sure that, you know, that number decreases. You know, I think we need to make sure that our kids have opportunities to be able to, you know, to grow in the community and be able to provide some of the supports that we're going to need as the community grows. So, you know, juvenile programs and certainly some fire services on that side.
All right, thank you, sir. And we'll start with you on the next question, Mr. Schwartz. A 2-minute response time. How would you prioritize the paving of our county roads? How can you increase transparency and accountability, specifically about which roads are being paved and how much it will cost?
Well, I mean, I certainly think that you need to be, you know, completely open to people. You know, and I would think that, you know, barring that there's no legal privacy type things, you know, when it comes to budgets and those types of things, you know, I think that you would need to publish some of that stuff, make that information available. Kind of goes back to the accessibility. You know, if you need to know something, ask. You know, I'd be one of those that you know, I may not give you the exact answer that you want, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. You know, I know speaking from precinct 3, you know, if you drive around precinct 3, we need some attention. You know, the roads are, while they're paved, you know, certainly out on the countryside. I would use that term very loosely. You know, I don't know when they were paved, but it's getting pretty rough. So I think that when it comes to paying for some of that stuff, my thought is that again, you know, a lot of that I would hope to be able to be budgeted in through new revenues that are coming in, things that are happening in the county that we know is going to happen.
All right, thanks, sir. Mr. Raskin, 2 minutes to you, and I'll repeat this 2-part question. How would you prioritize the paving of our county roads, and how would you increase transparency and accountability, specifically about which roads are being paved and how much that will cost?
Well, I would like to have an open communication with our road and bridge person, for one thing. And then also the city. Precinct 3 has a lot of streets and roads inside our city. And get the communication with them better. And, you know, it's really the traffic is what they go by. If y'all pay attention when y'all ride down this highway, they'll put a little black strip across the street on the highway and they'll tell you how much traffic going in there. Well, that's how they basically kind of stuff we need done on that highway, on that street and everything. But the city, they put new water lines in the city right now, so a lot of the streets are torn, but a lot of people don't realize what they're doing is for the future. But you put one line here or somewhere, you still got to finish it off before you repave these roads and everything. And people are complaining about it all the time, but that's just a part of life, y'all. You know? And where I live, they put in a turning lane from literally past the VFW all the way to past Guarantee Bank Friday, if y'all know it. And I'm always saying, man, why they couldn't put it all the way to right here on Foster Street, you know, and nobody really gave me an answer yet, but I guess they will eventually, you know, because there's been people killed right in front of my driveway, in front of my business, because they either trying to turn or something, you know, I don't know, the deal on that, but they putting that out there because of new subdivisions, so hopefully it gets in a budget, you know, and get to where, the other question was, you know, 4 years ago, I was thinking about running for commissioner, and I was telling people, and they thought I was a joke about it, but it was true. I'm gonna go down and buy me a pickup truck. I got one. I'm gonna buy me a 4-door dually. I'm gonna put me a shovel and some other equipment on the back, so if I'm going down the road and I see a pothole or something, I call somebody, if not, I'll fix it temporarily until they can get out here and do it, you know, on their own. So I got the real flag, so I got to be shut up now.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Swartz. No, Mr. Raskin. We'll begin with you on this question. My apologies. 2-minute response time. Tell us about your experience with budgeting.
Well, the thing about budgeting, you know, you got a lot of grants out there that people don't know about that you can ask the government for. You got, you know, every election we always got something. You vote for this, you vote for that. You know, you really got to get out people to turn out and vote for stuff, especially if you need it. You know, I see some stuff people are griping about that we really need it in this county, and then it gets shut down. You know, to me, the strong thing is the schools. You know, we can never have enough schools, you ask me. You know, that's education, and we all need it. I love how the high school over here in Navasota now it has it where you can go in there and do a little trading thing. To me, we need more of that. You know, prepare these kids so when they get out, you know, just adding and reading and all that, you ain't gonna have that when you get out. You got to learn how to be a mechanic, a carpenter, you know, all these trades. And I think we're getting more and more in these school houses, and we need more of that. You know, that's the way I feel about it.
All right, thanks, sir. Over to you, Mr. Swartz. 2 minutes. Tell us about your experience with budgeting.
I have a fair amount of experience with budgeting. You know, managing some fairly large automotive dealerships, you know, in the past, they operate on fairly large budgets. So, you know, I've got experience in dealing with that from a business standpoint, also on a small business owner. You know, obviously you have to budget your money well and make sure that you got your money working for you, those types of things. It's probably more specific to, you know, the county and taxpayer budgets. Again, I'm fairly familiar with it from the side of a school, and you know, the school, for the most part, I think operates very similarly. You know, you get a certain amount of tax revenue, and you have to budget it out accordingly. You know, I think that you know, the big thing is that you need to make sure that you are getting value, you know, for you know, the money that you got coming in. You got to be efficient. You got to make sure that you know, again, you're looking at necessities and those types of things. So you know, you're generally working with a limited amount of money, whatever that number is. You got to make it work for you as best you can. Use the term more for less.
Thank you, sir. We'll begin with you, Mr. Swartz, on this next question. 2-minute response. As Grimes County grows, our revenue will increase. How would you like to see that new revenue allocated?
Well, you know, I think that you would allocate it accordingly. You know, I think that, you know, one of the big things that we're gonna have to be prepared for is infrastructure. You know, as we get more people move into the county, we've got to be ready. We've got to make sure the roads are ready. We've got to make sure you know, that we have enough police officers, enough fire people. We've got to make sure that you know, from an infrastructure side, that we're prepared for the growth. We've got to be proactive and not reactive.
Second part, how would you like to see that new revenue allocated?
Well, again, I guess I kind of touched on that, you know, and again, I'll kind of go back to, you know, one of the things too is that I think as we grow, we
Thank you, sir. Mr. Raskin, 2 minutes to you. As Grimes County grows, our revenue will increase. How would you like to see that new revenue allocated?
Well, I would like to see it, first of all, be safety. And I'm talking about safety. We need sheriff's department, police department, fire department, ambulance service. We need to really concentrate on that more. You know, to help them get to where they can go out and hire new people, new equipment, you know, and oversee our county more. You know, when you start getting, you know, late at nights, you know, people want off, you know, they do crooks. Mostly come out at night, you know, keep y'all know that. You know, and I think we need more help. You know, 'cause these ladies up here laughing at me because I'm telling the truth. You know, you know, it's just the way I talk. You know, I'm a home person, but I think we need, you know, set a budget, you know, and help these 4 departments out that I said, you know, we need help.
All right, Mr. Raskin, we'll stay with you for this next question. 2-minute response time. And it's got a couple of parts to it, so let me run through this. Name 3 of your core values that cause you to align with the Republican Party. How many Republican primaries have you voted in the last 10 years?
Well, I'm a Republican, I guess that's a nomination of our county. You know, I started this process about 4 years ago, and I wanted to be running as independent. And I still stuck with it up till November, y'all, because I'm a working person. And it's when you got to tell yourself you're either Republican or you're a Democrat, well, I'm a human being. You know, I work for everybody that votes for me, and that's the way I've been raised. I ain't never had nothing handed to me, and I don't believe in giving no handouts. You know, if you want something out of life, I think you need to go out and work for it. That was one. What was that point?
The other part was, how many Republican primaries have you voted in the past 10 years?
Maybe half a dozen at the most. I'm not the type of person, you know, that goes out and just vote. You know, I rather vote for the person, you know, by who he is, and worry about, you know, if he's running for this office, he's running for this one. If I think he's a better person, that's the way I feel. You know.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Schwartz, I'll repeat this one. 2 minutes to you. Name 3 of your core values that cause you to align with the Republican Party. And how many Republican primaries have you voted in the last 10 years?
You know, probably the 3 core values would be, you know, God first, you know, my family, and ultimately I'm conservative. You know, I conservative fiscally, conservative. As far as my voting record, I would say I've voted in all the Republican primaries as long as I've been able to vote, I imagine. So.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Schwartz, we'll start with you. 2 minutes now for your closing statement, please.
You know, I think that I want to thank everybody again for coming out. You know, I know one of the main things that defines a community and makes a community successful is community involvement. And you know, a lot of times, too often at the school, you know, I don't see a lot of involvement, you know, with some of our youth and some of those types of things. And I really appreciate when people do get involved. You know, I think it was actually, I'm pretty sure it was John F. Kennedy that said, you know, a rising tide should raise all ships. And I don't think anyone in here at this point could argue that we are going to have a significant amount of growth that is coming to this community over the next, you know, decade, couple of decades, whatever it is. Probably a lot of it's going to happen a lot sooner than we would like. But I think the important thing is that with that growth, we just need to make sure that we're being proactive. We're handling that growth responsibly. We're making sure that we are ready for the things that are going to come with that growth. Because it's, you know, it's coming one way or the other. So like to think that, I am the person that has the right background, the right experience, to be able to participate in that, and like I said, be a good representative of the people of the community. So, I hope that, as we get going and, we head towards this coming primary, that, if you got any questions, I know, in this short amount of time that we've been up here, I know that's impossible to get to know who I am as a person in this amount of time. If you got questions, ask. I'm available. I will certainly make myself available. I've got cards that have my cell phone, my email, all that stuff on it. So if you need anything, certainly, just ask. But again, I appreciate everybody coming.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Raska, 2 minutes to you for your closing statement.
Well, one thing, I'm gonna apologize to my wife, because on my opening statements, I didn't mention her. We've been married 35 years, we had 3 wonderful girls, and they all in the school district or some kind of job with that, but, I wanna thank y'all for most, the Republican Party is strong. I've learned that over the last years, just participating in things and everything, and I hope to get out and make an input. Might not win, but tell you what, when I get through, they're gonna know Raska put a fight on. And that's the way I've been all my life. I ain't never been a quitter. And I think I would be a good person for this job, because I'm around all day. I'm nosy as everything too, to be honest with you. If I see something going on and it ain't none of my business, I'm gonna call somebody that I know something going on. And that's just the way I am. I see people in the street every day, and I ain't never go up to people before and say, hey, y'all make sure y'all get out and vote. But I got something to say so about now, because it reflects my life. It reflects y'all life. And I want to be a good person in office that represents the Republicans, that we'll stand strong and we'll get the job done. It's time for us to do that, especially in this county. And I got to work, I would have to work with everybody. I'm not a spokesperson. I guess y'all know that by now. I hate getting behind the microphone, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. You call me at the ball, if I ain't got an answer, I ain't gonna sit there and lie to you. I'm gonna tell you, I'll get back with you. And I go ask somebody here, hey, what's the answer to this? That's just the way person I am. Just go with that flag. So, all right. Thank y'all for listening to me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you both for being here. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, I promised you a 5-minute break, so we'll go ahead and take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back for precinct 3 and 4 Constable.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started here in just a minute. You can find your seats, please.
Howdy.
All right, we'll begin in about 1 minute. If everybody will get their seats, please. All right, thank you. Next up, we'll be hearing from candidates for Constable Precinct 3 and 4. We have Wes Mell, Gary Bender, and Courtney Armstead. Gentlemen, thank you all for being here. We'll start with Wes Mell. This will be a 3-minute response, please. It's an opening statement. Please introduce yourself to us. Include what unique asset you will bring to the job of constable.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. Is that loud enough? Can everybody hear me? Yeah, I know I talk a lot, so they're going to have to keep red carding me here a little bit. I'm Wes Mell, current constable, precinct 3 and 4 here in Grimes County, which is the Navasota area. I would like to start off with a little fun fact for everybody in case they don't know, because I get questions all the time, like what is a constable and what do they do? So, our primary election day is March 5th this year. Well, March 5th, 1823 was the first law enforcement in the state of Texas, and it was a constable. And then shortly after that, another one was appointed. Our first 2 law enforcement in the state of Texas was constables. So I just wanted to give everybody a little fun fact. So once again, I'm Wes Mel. I'm from Grimes County, grew up here. Went to school in Navasota. My family's from here. Some of y'all might know Navasota Beer and Glass. We had the racetrack years ago that the sheriff's office had to always go out because of noise complaints. Went to school here, graduated from here, left for a while. Went and got certified as a peace officer back in 2000. Left, went and got some training, knowledge, and experience, and then brought that home. Came back home because I wanted to raise a family here and retire here in Grimes County. This is my home. So many citizens of here in Grimes County gave, especially the city of Navasota, gave so much to me. I wanted to give so much back. When I came home, I was met my wife, Stacy, who's a longtime resident, our lifelong resident of Grimes County. Her family's here. We have a 10-year-old son who currently goes to John C. Webb, straight A student, so he gets it from her, not from me. Good kid, loves baseball. So anybody saw Facebook know that we played a lot of baseball, but excuse me. I think one of the biggest, was it assets or
Yes, a unique asset.
unique assets? I believe it's the knowing of the people of the community, knowing them personally, knowing them for years, the training, the knowledge, the experience I have as being constable, I think sets me apart as to be constable and continue to be constable. And I think that shows and will continue to show. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we'll hear from Gary Bender. 3 minutes for you, sir. Please introduce yourself. Include what unique asset you will bring to the job of constable.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Gary Bender, and the unique asset that I have that can offer the citizens of Navasota in Grimes County in Precinct 3 and 4 is I'm a 30-year veteran of the Houston Police Department, the 5th largest police department in the country, 4th largest city in the United States. We have over 5,300 sworn officers, over 1,200 civilians. 1,200 civilians. I'm going to start with my work, education, and then family. Work, I started off in patrol. From patrol, I went to the tactical team where I worked as an undercover officer. From the tactical team, I went to narcotics where I worked in 3 hiding units. And I know that sounds strange to people, so I'll tell you it's high interdiction trafficking areas. It's a DEA task force. From narcotics, I was also a canine officer where I worked interdiction. I promoted out of narcotics, and then from there I went to Westside Patrol as a sergeant. From Westside, I went to the traffic enforcement where I managed $500,000 TxDOT grants. We did interdiction, traffic enforcement. I was over the radar task force, which lowered the speed, which by default lowered the fatality rates on our highways. From the traffic division, I went to the emergency communications division where I was a supervisor of a watch command. From there, I went to internal affairs where I investigated police misconduct and corruption. And from there, I went to the major offenders division where I'm currently assigned. In the major offenders division, I supervised multiple squads, animal cruelty, swindle, police impersonations, cargo theft, where I testified as an expert witness in John Whitmire's criminal court in Austin to pass bills for the state. I'm currently assigned to an FBI strike force where I work in international organized criminal activities, specifically drug cartels. In the last 5 years from my work as a policeman, I've been nominated for top cop in the country twice. I've had 3 directors awards and 3 top 10 investigations in the United States. My education is I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, I have a master's degree in strategic leadership, and I've been a master peace officer for over 20 years. Like Blake said, the biggest asset I have to this community, what a lot of people, the work that I've done are very high awards for somebody. the squad that I was on, we had a lot of support personnel, intel analysts, and I'm getting close. But let me get to my family real quick. I've been married to my childhood sweetheart for 32 years, Andrea, and we've got 3 wonderful children. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Courtney Armstead, same question. Please introduce yourself to us and include what unique asset you will bring to the job of constable.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? My name is Courtney Armstead, and I want to be your next Precinct 3 and 4 constable. What I plan to bring to Precinct 3 is basically what Precinct 3 requires as a constable. I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to communicate with the people. I'm going to make sure that the process, the civil process, is top priority. I'm running for constable. I'm not running for a drug enforcement agent. I'm not running for the sheriff. I'm running for the constable. And the constable job requires primarily here in Grimes County is your bailiffing of your courts and your court security and your civil process. So my top priority is to make sure that that constable office is in the green. So as soon as I'm in, I'll have to do the audit to find out where we are. But my first priority is to make sure that office is in the green.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll begin the next question with Mr. Bender. This will be a 2-minute response, sir. Why do you want to be the constable of this precinct?
I spent the last 30 years of my life enforcing the law and serving the citizens of Houston, and I'm proud of that service. And through that service, I've learned a commitment to law enforcement with integrity, honesty, on and off duty. I want to take that experience and bring it to the people where I live. My children live here. My grandchildren are going to live here. And I want to make this a safe place for them to live. There's nobody more qualified on this stage to walk in on day one, not only do the civil process, courtroom security, and the minimum jobs of a constable. I can work with Mike Mize, the sheriff, and Blake, and James Ellis to do extra above and beyond to make this a safe place for everyone. I have a passion to spend the last 10 years of my career making the safest, most pleasant place for all of us to live. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We'll go to your left there, back to Mr. Armstead. 2 minutes to you, sir. Why do you want to be constable of this precinct?
Why do I want to be constable? Well, I'm going to have to ask you to do something for me. When you get home this evening, I want you to look in the mirror. And whoever's looking back at you, that's why I'm running for constable, to protect and serve you. I want to bring respect, professionalism, and integrity to the office. I feel like respect and integrity is your cornerstone of law enforcement. Let me give you a little story. You know, I grew up here in Navasota, I'm native Navasodian, a country boy, grew up here. I was raised by my grandmother, and the 18 years that I was raised by my grandmother, I never heard the word in my house, integrity, but it was taught. She told us you always have to be a man of your word, mean what you say, and say what you mean, that your word is your bond. Simply put, she wanted to make sure it was clear. She told us that if your word ain't shit, then you ain't shit. And that stuck with me throughout the years. So I was working for the Texas Department of Corrections, TDC at the Wallace Pack 2 unit in Courtney, Texas out there. And I had been there for about 4 or 5 years. I had done my due diligence. And they were holding some sergeant positions were coming available there at the Pack unit. Well, I had never been to a promotion board, and I didn't have any idea what to expect. Well, I found out that Sugar Land, the central unit in Sugar Land, was holding a promotional board for sergeant 2 weeks prior to ours. So I met the board down in Sugar Land on a Monday. That Wednesday, the personnel lieutenant called me in the office, and he said that he had received a teletype from headquarters, Huntsville, Texas. And that teletype said that Courtney Armstead, CO3, has been promoted to sergeant, Central Unit Sugar Land. Well, my eyes got big as silver dollars because I had no intention of leaving Navasota. So I had a choice to make. Do I call that warden? Do I slap the warden in the face and say, thank you for promoting, but no thank you? or do what my grandmother told me, and that's be a man of your word. So what I ended up doing was loading up my truck and moving to Beverly Hills, Sugar Land, Texas. So I stood on my integrity then, and I stand on my integrity today.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mel, 2 minutes to you now, sir. Why do you want to be constable of this precinct?
Well, I want to continue to serve the citizens of this precinct that gave so much to me growing up. You know, when I came home, I went to work for the sheriff's office, and when I first got there and met with the Sheriff Sal, I told him my goal was to be the constable. That was what my goal was to do, was to be the constable. When most of y'all know, when Mama Ann Weeks decided to retire. That's what my goal was to be the constable. I've been in law enforcement now, not as long as Mr. Bender here, but you know, over half of my life, I have been a sworn Texas peace officer. And I want to continue to serve the citizens of the city of Navasota and precinct 3 and 4 to continue to give back to them that gave me so much. I still believe in those values of what I was taught, where we could go to a neighbor's house and play with the kids, and then go into the house, and then those parents would parent us as well, just like our parents would parent them children. And that's the way I was raised here, and I want to continue to serve those folks that gave me so much, and so that I could be a part of them and be there for them when they need me, whether it's just to talk or to actually, you know, take action. So that's why I want to continue to be the constable, continue serving the citizens and the people of Precinct 3, 4, and Grimes County that have given so much to me over my life.
Thank you. We'll begin the next question with Mr. Armstead. This will be a 2-minute response, sir. What are the duties of the constable?
The primary duties, you know, a constable duties is serving all phases of law enforcement. But we have the additional responsibility of civil process and bailiff in the courts, court security. We have the responsibility of making sure that our community is safe. Public safety is our top priority, but getting the civil process delivered in a timely manner is essential to a lot of different departments, whether it be the juvenile department, whether it be adult probation, whether it be child protective services. Our job is to make sure that we get those papers and we make sure that they get served in the most expeditious manner possible, and because they're time sensitive, and a lot of responsibility lies on the constable and him doing his job. As far as securing the courts, you know, we got to be vigilant. We got to watch the courts. I don't know if you guys saw here maybe a couple of weeks ago where the gentleman jumped over the bench and attacked the judge. I don't know if he had a trampoline or what, but he really jumped over. So we got to be mindful of that and keep our eye out and make sure that we're protecting our judges.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bell, 2 minutes to you now, sir. What are the duties of the constable?
Well, it's quite simple. You're officers of the court. That's what a constable is. What's the definition of it? You're an officer of the court. You handle the civil process coming out of the JP courts, county courts, district courts, and you serve those. You bailiff your JP courts, and then here in this county, it's a little bit different than some other counties. We bailiff the district courts, and as Constable Jarvis said earlier, he's got multiple courts that he bailiffs and secures, and I take care of one of the district courts here, which is the 506, and then the JP court, which we're required by government code to handle. Outside of your civil process and your courtroom security and bailiffing, then you start going out to the communities, and you can help the city of Navasota, you can help the sheriff's office to, you know, basically public safety, keep them safe, traffic enforcement, all the other criminal things that are allowed, that are within the realm. But your top priority is the courts, is the civil process. Once those are then taken care of, then go into the other aspects of, providing safety and things of that nature, which most of the times you're continuously providing safety, especially in the courts, when you're taking care of your judges, your court staff, and the jury members, and the public that's in there as well. So I'm very proud that not only do I have the 8-hour certification, but I have the 40-hour advanced security for courtroom security that teaches you on how to position yourself and things in those courts. Once you get that taken care of, then you can come back out. Does it got red flags? So you come back out, and then you provide public safety to the citizens in the community as they're needed.
Thank you. Mr. Bender, 2 minutes to you now. What are the duties of the constable?
The duties of the constable are serving civil processes in a legal manner. You have to make sure that they're served in a legal manner. If you don't, you're a liability to the county. You also should be able to be reached by the public. Make sure that you serve their processes adequately. You have to stay within the deadlines and courtroom security. And what they're talking about is situational awareness. Whenever you're in the courtroom and you don't have situational awareness or proper training, and I've had advanced tactical training in the last 30 years from in my opinion, one of the best police departments in the country. We shoot quarterly. We have advanced tactics that have been taught from being on the tactical team and in narcotics. And thirdly, we have to be a proactive law enforcement agency. And we have to build relationships with the police department, with the sheriff department, with precinct 1 and 2 constables. And I don't know if that's been done, but I've already reached out and had open communications with Blake Jarvis and James Ellis. And we're all committed to working together to make precinct 3, 4, and 1 and 2 constables the most professional constable offices in the country. And we're committed to working proactively in highway interdiction and traffic. Traffic is a problem, not just on 105, but in our school zones. We have cars flying by school buses when our children are trying to get off the buses. That will stop. I've been a supervisor over traffic enforcement, and I know how to implement those programs. So, in a nutshell, it's serving civil processes, courtroom security, and proactive law enforcement. And whenever it comes to working with multi-jurisdictional agencies, there's nobody on the stage that has that kind of experience like I do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll start the next question with Mr. Mel. This will be a 2-minute response, sir. What qualifies you to be the constable of this precinct?
Well, I think it's my experience, my knowledge, and my training. I've been in office since 2015. I was appointed. 2016, I was elected. 2020, I was re-elected. And then obviously we're here today so that I can seek my 3rd term to be re-elected as well. I do work well with the other agencies. I have in the past with Chief Mize, Blake Jarvis, James Ellis. I've worked with all of them gentlemen. Sheriff Sal, I've worked with all of them the whole time I've been here. Me and Constable Jarvis went to the police academy together. So I know all these gentlemen. I've been a member of the community. I've served in the community on different boards, different organizations, such as Little League, Lions Club, different organizations such that I've been invested and been involved in the community since I have returned at Thanksgiving 2009. I've invested myself into the community. We hit a county phone. I have a personal phone. My personal phone is always on. It rings. Text messages. I talk to people. I just came back from getting my doctor's release for my shoulder surgery where I've been out for a while. So now I'm back on the streets, I'm back in uniform, back out there working and back continuing to do what I've done the whole time I've been elected up until the last roughly, say 4 months, I guess, 5 months, because I had a broken arm and then a torn shoulder had to get reconstructed. But I've been a member of the community. I've been a part of the community. I've been invested in the community, and I've served the community, and I would hopefully want to continue to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bender, 2 minutes to you, sir. What qualifies you to be the constable of this precinct?
Again, I'm a 30-year veteran of the Houston Police Department. I've been a sergeant for the last 16 years, going on 17 years. And my education, I've got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, a master's degree in strategic leadership. And during the course of my career, I filed 400 state charges. I filed multiple federal charges for narcotics trafficking. You know, one thing I always ask an applicant that's coming to work for me is, you know, it's important for me to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your promises, but show me what you've done. I want to see the cases that you make. I want to see the charges that you file. I challenge anybody on this stage to produce the records that I can produce. I haven't seen anybody's resume to show their qualifications or show the charges that they file. Day one, I can hit the streets. I know how to file charges. I know how to make the elements law offenses. I can teach younger guys in the community. And that's one thing that I'm very proud of. All the officers that I work with always come up to me and say, hey Gary, this is what I got, how do I get there? And I tell them, if I don't know, I said, let's call the DA's office. Let's get input from the lawyers. I want to make sure we're doing the right thing. And I had one incident where an officer, we were doing a high profile sexual assault case, and he kept on getting pushed back from the DA's office, pushed back from the DA's office. And this guy went through the academy with me. We're good friends. I'm not going to say his name because it's being live streamed today. He said, Gary, I'm done with this. I said, I'll say his first name, Bart, you're done whenever I say you're done. We're not going to let anyone say that the Houston Police Department did not do their job on an investigation. If the lawyers tell you we need to do this, we're going to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Armstead, same question for 2 minutes. What qualifies you to be constable of the precinct?
I have 26 years law enforcement experience, and all that experience has been with the constable department. I served with Precinct 6 in Harris County for a number of years. Then I went to Precinct 1. I'm currently serving as captain over at Precinct 3 Constable Office. And what qualifies me is the fact that I'm community driven and I know how to bring people together. I want to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the law-abiding citizens. I feel like about I'd say about 85% of the citizens in Grahams County are law-abiding citizens. That other 15% of criminal element, we'll deal with those accordingly. But I want to create an office, and I feel like I have the experience to run an office, and I want to run that office, or my administration want to run on equality, compassion. We want to run without prejudice. You know, I want to be the constable for all people. I want to be the constable for all people. What it takes, I feel this is my position on your education, is I really don't care if you have a PhD or a GED. I want to know what kind of common sense you have, because that's what it takes to make a great law enforcement officer, is to be able to use good judgment and have good common sense. But I definitely want to work with. We're going to run our office, like I say. We're going to be equality. We're going to be a constable for all people.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Bender, we'll start the next question with you. A 2-minute response. In your precinct, what are the 3 most pressing concerns or problems, and how would you address them?
Well, the obvious one that I've been addressed by the citizens and law enforcement is the drugs. And Chief Mize, Sheriff, Blake. I mean, Blake's got a background. Mike worked on the same floor as I did as an ATF task force officer. They're getting new officers. They're getting new officers in here, but they need to be trained. And the training that is being invested in me is several $100,000 of training over the last 30 years to work and operate at the level I work in. On day one, I can get with these officers and teach them how to work these dope houses, dope dealers on the street. And dope that's coming through our community on the highways, we have to be proactive in traffic. I can't say that enough. Myself and just one other officer on a Sunday morning, we were out working interdiction on the highway, and the third car we stopped, we got 6,500 pounds of marijuana. 6,500 pounds. It's me and one other officer. So manpower's tight, but what's important for the citizens to understand is I can't stress enough how dangerous narcotics are. Every crime that we see in the courts have a nexus to narcotics. Assault, B&B, stolen vehicles, breaking in your house, aggravated assault, murders, it all comes from narcotics. And I keep on hearing about the traffic, speeding vehicles on 105. I'm not talking about harassing the local people that live here. We never did that, even in Houston. We're not gonna pull over a guy that's barely making a living and hammering him with 3 tickets that he can't afford. I'm talking about motorcycles that fly by on the weekends, cars flying by our school buses. That's the kind of traffic we need to focus on. And if you stop enough people on traffic, you will get narcotic cases. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, this will go to Mr. Armstead next. 2 minutes, sir. In your precinct, what are the 3 most pressing concerns or problems, and how would you address them?
Well, the main concerns in precinct 3, you know, every community or every city in the country has a drug problem. And as long as it's a problem, then that's something we can deal with. There's a solution to all problems. When it becomes an epidemic is when we got an issue. But as long as it's a problem, we're no different from any other large city or small town in this country. But the information I got on the street is that we need a constable. And some of the people I talk with about that, I tell them, I say, well, you know, in Harris County, we do all phases of law enforcement. I said, we do traffic. I said, we do drug interdiction. They said, well, they stopped. They said, we don't need that. We need a constable. We need you to do the constable job. They said, we have other people to do those other things in the county, but we need you to focus on the constable department. Now, sure, doing your duties as any good law enforcement officer, if you run into a situation where you got a drug situation, you'll handle that at that time and you'll deal with that accordingly. But my top priority, as like I said, is going to be to do the constable's job, to make sure that the process is being served in a timely manner, making sure that we reach out to the communities. Again, like Gary said, you know, Whitehall community talks about how they have issues with the school bus, with people running around the school bus. Well, we'll address those issues as well. When I'm elected constable, then I'll reach out to those different communities. In fact, I plan on creating a Precinct 3 Citizen Review Board and have a member from the different communities within our precincts. And we're gonna meet quarterly, more often if necessary, to address the issues that we have and try to resolve those issues. So we're certainly gonna be working with the community and, like I say, trying to bridge, I want to try to bridge that gap again, like I said, between the citizens of our community and law enforcement, because there's no reason why a law-abiding citizen should not be able to sit down and have lunch with me. You know, in fact, the old school people say if you can't trust anybody, they won't sit down and break bread with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Mill, to you now, sir, for 2 minutes. In your precinct, what are the 3 most pressing concerns or problems, and how would you address them?
Well, I mean, we could sit up here and we could talk about, you know, your traffic, your drugs, your thefts, things of that nature, and that, I believe that's just a blanket that you can put pretty much anywhere in the country. It's going to be that where everybody has those concerns. Those concerns are going to be the same here as they're going to be in College Station, Houston, you know, wherever else that you go. Those are blanketed across the field. And so, you know, your communication with your citizens of your community that trust you and reach out to you, that's where you're hearing what they need or what they want. Sometimes it's just to have a conversation so that they can vent. You know, when I get done with the courts or get done with the civil process, I go into these businesses, I go to these schools, I walk through the schools, I talk to the teachers, I talk to the children, I talk to these business owners of what they want or what they need or, you know, what their concerns are. And over the last couple months where I was out with my shoulder surgery, I took that, instead of sitting at home and just being a bum, I actually took it upon myself and went and did my continuing education so that I could keep my certifications up and take more classes so that I could better serve the citizens of Grimes County in Precinct 3 and 4. So, you know, once those means are met within your courts and your civil process of being an officer of the court, I have went to the city of Navasota and worked with them on different things and helping them out on calls where they could go take care of higher priority stuff so that I could take care of the lower priority so that they could go do that, which, you know, a civil call or things of that nature. I've done it in the county. And I've worked well with all the agencies here. And yes, you go to anywhere in the country, everybody needs more officers. I agree. We all need more officers. As our deal grows, they want more people in the public, and especially within this precinct, as more people are moving in, which as far as land mass wise, precinct 3 and 4 is not the biggest, but as far as population wise, it's over 50% of the population of the county. And so when you get me in a district court, and then you have a deputy that works with me in JP court, and then once he's done out there doing JP court, then he's serving civil process, and then I'm in the district court for, you know, all day that day and maybe the next day, depending on if we have a jury trial. So sometimes it's limited to address those concerns, but reaching back out to them and saying, hey, once I get done with this, or let me see if I can get somebody there to help you, is what I believe. Oh, sorry, I just got a red flag. I apologize. I wasn't even paying attention.
All right. We've got some solo questions now. The first one will go to Courtney Armstead. This will be for 2-minute responses, please. Mr. Armstead, you answered the first part of this, but I'm going to read it the way it's worded. Your signs state that you are a captain. What are you a captain of? And please describe your experience as a police officer.
Thank you so much. You know, like I said, I come up through the ranks there with the Harris County Constable Office. I've been there for 26 years. And I worked various departments, civil departments, patrol, day shift, night shift, did some administration, and I moved around a little bit. And so I was promoted to sergeant, and then the constable that I work for now, the Honorable Constable Sherman Eagleton, he was actually running for constable in 2016. And I was working for the constable, the Honorable Constable Allen Rosen at the time. And Precinct 3 did not have a motorcycle division. So the constable that's running, he asked me, he said, Courtney, he said, when I win office, I need you to come over and create me a motorcycle division, Precinct 3. So he did, in fact, win. And once he won, he reached out to me, and again, you know, integrity is the top of my forefront. So I had to be a man of my word. I told him I would come over and start a motorcycle division in Precinct 3. So then I moved over to Precinct 3, started up a motorcycle division. We started out with about 6 motors, and we built it up to 20 motors. And some of them were full-time, and some of them were reserves, part-time. And so I run that division for him pretty good. Then a couple years later, I was promoted to captain. So I'm currently serving as the captain over the Harris County Precinct Motorcycle Division. And if you ask our constable what division is he most proud of, he would say his motorcycle division.
Thank you, sir. Next question will be for Wes Mail. A 2-minute response for you, sir. You are the current incumbent constable. In the last 4 years, what have you done in the way of proactive law enforcement? Number of traffic citations, number of drug arrests? How often are you backing up the Navasota PD or Sheriff's Office?
Well, I can say when I started into the constable's office, I was bailiff in multiple courts, and so my time was pretty scarce. I was doing almost every court except for the JP, or 2 JPs and the 1 district court until Constable Jarvis came in there, and then we started, you know, and Constable Sharper, we started splitting things up. Up until, was it a year and a half ago? I guess 2 years ago, I was just by myself. And so most of my time consisted of being in the courts or serving civil process. Numbers off the top of my head, I couldn't give you an accurate number of drug arrests that I've made. I know that I've worked many cases in the past, but as constable, I couldn't give you an accurate number whether I filed 1 drug case or 20 drug cases. I couldn't give you a number. Traffic citations, I didn't have any citation books within my office up until I received a deputy position within the office. And at that time, we received a citation and had a deputy working for me, and I know he had wrote a few citations, but in the meantime, we didn't have enough equipment into the vehicle that was provided. They were waiting on stuff to get there, such as video cameras and body cameras and things of that nature. And since he moved on to another department, new deputies came in, has written a few citations, but I don't know the exact number of how many have been written.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Bender, 2 minutes to you now, sir. It has been said that it is a conflict of interest for you to be elected because your wife is the district attorney. Does a conflict of interest exist?
Absolutely not. There's 2 courts that I have primary responsibility, Judge Cheney's and the JP's court, Judge Laughlin. My deputy will serve as the bailiff for the Judge Cheney's court, and I will be the bailiff for Judge Laughlin's court. By far, you have to understand that there were 7 trials last year, 5 criminal and 2 civil. During those trials, my deputy will be bailiff there. Ancillary dockets are different. I need everybody to understand that because it's important. It's open to the public. Even if my deputy's sick or on vacation, I've worked it out ahead of time with James Ellis and Blake Jarvis to schedule the bailiffs in that court if my deputy's off and it's a criminal trial, so it will never ever be an issue. And I'd like to take that one step further. If I file charges and arrest somebody and somebody says that would be a conflict of interest, or if I'm a victim of aggravated assault, so I'm gonna be out there working and it can happen, that's not an issue as well. There are police officers throughout the country married to assistant district attorneys, and it's never a conflict of interest. My wife has 3 competent attorneys in her office that could prosecute that case. If she had recused herself, Brett Ligon, Courtney Kane could come in as a special prosecutor at no additional cost to the county and prosecute that case. It's no different than if John Wren, Blake Baldabino, Tammy were a victim in that office. Simply not an issue, and a defense attorney would have to raise that issue before it would even be considered a conflict of interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to Wes Mel now. 1 minute response here, sir. And so it's got a few different parts, so we run through it.
Okay, see if I can remember.
Is it accurate that other law enforcement officers and private process servers have been necessary to serve papers in your precinct? What caused this, and has it cost the county any money?
Yes, there has been well, I'm not 100% sure about the private process servers. I'm not aware of that, if that's happened or not. But yes, there's been other officers that have served papers within my precinct. I had, like I said earlier, back in, trying to remember the actual time, I believe it was the end of June. Broke my, I believe it was the end of June, broke my wrist, arm, and hand. Just a freak accident. And then at the end of that, which it was on my right side, I'm dominantly right-handed. And then immediately following that, I had my whole left shoulder reconstructed. And during that time, Precinct 2, Precinct 1 did serve the papers, and we had that already agreed upon while I was out, and I couldn't get out into the public. And then I was waiting, I had a deputy that left, and I was trying to get a new deputy in.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bender, back to you, a 1-minute response. Many Grimes County residents don't really know you. We don't see you out and about. Why is this?
The reason I'm not out and about in the county is because I work so much. I spend 3 to 4 days a week working 16 hours a day in Houston. I spend an incredible amount of time traveling with the FBI to fulfill my duties. I work a lot. I'm a hardworking cop, and I'll be a hardworking cop here. You know, whenever you're that committed to public safety and serving the people, you spend a lot of time away from home as well, and my family suffered for that. But it's because I have an extremely driven passion for serving the people. And I'm not out with buddies. If I'm not at home, I'm working. And it's either working for the city, the FBI, or an extra job. My extra job is a patrol job, serving the people. So the only 2 times I'm gone is whenever I'm at work or at home. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Down to Courtney Armstead, 1 minute to you, sir. There have been claims made that you don't live in Grimes County. Where do you live, and how long have you lived there?
Well, I'm a native Navasodian, so I'm from Navasota. Some of the people probably that's making those comments and statements probably wasn't even born when I was living here. But I moved back to Navasota the early part of the year, around February or so. I moved back to Navasota. But I live off of County Road 450. It used to be, when I was coming up as a child, it was Rural Route 1, Box 84. When it came up with the 911 address, then it's 4884 County Road 450 is where I live. If anybody knows what Hillco Metal Roofing is, if you look directly across the highway from Hillco, you'll see a white brick house with a gray top on it. That's where I live. In fact, I'm the one that sold Hillco that property across the street, so I'm directly across from Hillco. And that property has been in my family maybe 150 years. I've had ownership of that property for the last 20 years. And in fact, I own about 5 different properties here in Navasota and don't owe not 1 penny of taxes on each one, on any one of them. So I'm firmly in the community. Like I said, I've been back for about 9 to 10 months in the community. I'm right there off, like I say, right off of Highway 6, 3 miles south of town. Again, I still work in Harris County. I'm just waiting for you guys to elect me as the next constable, then I'll be retiring from Harris County and I'll be here full time. But so I'm in and out. You may not see me. I mean, if somebody's stalking me, then you know, you may not. I mean, you know, I would recommend you go ahead and go on with your business because I'm in and out. But I'm definitely a resident here, and once I win, like I said, once I win constable, I'm going to retire and I'll be 100% dedicated to Precinct 3.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll start off the next question with Wes Mill. 2-minute response here, please. Name 3 of your core values which cause you to align with the Republican Party. How many Republican primaries have you voted in the last 10 years?
Core values, I mean, it's morals. It's the integrity that we have spoke about. and believing, you have to earn what you get. You don't just give it something free. As far as voting in the Republican primaries or Republican elections or whatever, as far as I can remember back, I voted in Republican. Can't recall a time since I was 18 years old that I hadn't voted Republican. So it's been, how old am I now? Next month I'll be 45. So ever since I was 18, I could vote. I voted Republican. So every time there's an election, I don't believe I've missed one. I might have, but I'm not sure that I ever have missed one.
Thank you, sir. All right, this will go down to Mr. Armstead. It'll be the same question. 2 minutes to you. Name 3 of your core values which cause you to align with the Republican Party. And how many Republican primaries have you voted in the last 10 years?
Well, like I say, I'm a conservative person, have been all my life. I believe in integrity and I believe in respect, which aligns me with the Republican Party. The Republican Party is a party that we believe in giving. We believe in helping people, especially the ones that want to help themselves. So I'm proud to be a member of the Republican Party. Now, I've never voted straight ticket, even when straight ticket was allowed. I've always voted across the aisle because I voted for a candidate that I felt like would do the best job. As far as the Republican primary, this is probably my second time voting in the Republican primary, but I can't say that I voted in all the primaries in the last 10 years. But I have voted in the Democratic primary before. But now I'm a Republican. And it may have took me a while to get here, but I'm here now.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Bender, 2 minutes to you now, same question. Name 3 of your core values which cause you to align with the Republican Party. And how many Republican primaries have you voted in the last 10 years?
Republican values are very clear-cut: self-government, rule of law, patriotism, family unit, and God. And that's what I believe in. And I've been a lifelong Republican. I've never voted Democrat, and I've voted in the majority of the Republican primaries. If I did vote, it was because I was either out of the country and just was too busy or forgot to absentee vote. But my core values have always been aligned with the Republican values, and I think I'm the only one up here that really cited Republican values. So I am a true Republican. I vote Republican. My family's Republican. All 3 of my boys are, I'm proud to say, good Christian Republican men. Thank you.
Thank you. For the next question, we'll start with Mr. Armstead. This is a 2-minute response, sir. What is your current job and what does your unique work experience bring to Grimes County?
Well, my current job, again, like I stated earlier, I'm the captain over the Precinct 3 Motorcycle Division. So primarily we do motorcycle patrol and accidents and stuff like that, things that we do on motorcycle. A lot of times we may work school zones if we get information that we have some issues with the school zones, we may protect those school zones. But primarily, like I say, I'm on the motorcycle solo division. And in that motorcycle division, it gives me the opportunity to really meet a lot of people. I've had the profound opportunity to be a part of several presidential motorcades. While Houston Police Department primarily covers the presidential motorcades, there's times where they need extra help if they're going to be going different places, and a lot of times we'll help them out. I was part of the President Bush, Daddy Bush, and escorted him when he came to Houston. President Clinton was part of that team, and then also was part of Bush Jr.'s motorcade as well. What's the last part of that question again?
Last part, what does your unique work experience bring to Grimes County?
Well, like I say, once I'm elected constable, then, like I say, I'm a motorcycle guy. I've been in the solo division for the last 18 years doing motors. So I plan to introduce motorcycles to Grimes County. And the benefit of that is going to be to work some of these areas where, like Whitehall, where we're having the complaints about people not paying attention to the school buses. Well, I'm going to assign those guys to do traffic and to make sure that they whip those people into shape. I'm gonna meet with the school barn, and I'm sure they have safety briefings, so I wanna be at the safety briefings and they can tell me what areas that we're having issues with the school buses. Also, you know, my motor guys can relieve some of the other departments like the sheriff department or even Navasota Police Department. So if we have some funeral details here, we can use our motors to cover those and not take the patrol officers from the street.
Thank you. We'll move it down now to Mr. Mail. 2 minutes to you on the same question. What is your current job and what does your unique work experience bring to Grimes County?
Like I said earlier, current job is I am the incumbent. I am the precinct 3-4 elected constable and have been just shy of 9 years. I have the training, the knowledge, the experience of being constable. Also know the community. I know the people of the community. I've been involved in the community, and I believe that and knowing the people and the comfortability of them coming to me or me going to them is a relief to them when they feel more comfortable talking to you. And I believe that puts me as, you know, a better candidate to be with the people, because when they feel comfortable by talking to somebody or knowing somebody, knowing that they're going to be straightforward with them, they're not going to play around, they're just going to tell them who they are and what's going on, I believe they feel relieved about that. So that's what I believe is being in office. I've been in office, I've been serving, and I've been involved in the community. I'm a part of the community, and I believe that is what makes me a better candidate to continue to be the constable.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Bender, same question, a 2-minute response. What is your current job and what does your unique work experience bring to Grimes County?
Again, I'm a sergeant with the Houston Police Department. I've been there for 30 years as of February the 3rd of this year. I've worked in every major department in the Houston Police Department. What we need here is my experience working in narcotics, working in the traffic division, managing a $500,000 tech stock grant, and knowing how to access money to that for those grants. I have the ability to write those grants, work with TechStop at no cost to the city, bring those in. And what's good about me is I've always worked with other agencies. I'm on an interagency task force right now. For probably 16 years I've worked with other agencies. If I apply for a TechStop grant with only 2 guys, you're not going to get a lot of money. I'm going to have to work with Mike and the sheriff and say, this is the total amount of officers we have. This is our problem in Navasota and Grimes County. And knowing how to implement this, and knowing how to be a real cop. I'm telling you, I've talked to a lot of people all over Houston, all over the world, and whenever they're a victim, they don't care. They don't care where you grew up. They care if you can catch the guy that killed their kid. And in the last 2 years, I have done that. I've had kids that were died from fentanyl overdoses. Their parents were broken out, didn't even know me. But I said, I got this, the buck stops here with me. And I found those dope dealers through investigative techniques that I can't talk about now in a public forum, because bad guys watch this stuff and they learn from when we talk. But through those investigative techniques, I identified the dope dealer. I filed 6 federal indictments on him. He pled guilty to 5 and he's in prison today. That's what people care about. When you call me and say, hey, my kid's dead, they want to know that I'm going to be able to take care of business on day 1 and catch them. That's what people care about.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll move it down to Mr. Armstead. A 2-minute response here, sir. As a constable, how do you anticipate balancing your time spent between serving papers, serving as bailiff in the court, and working in the streets?
Well, again, like I said earlier, my top priority is gonna be civil process and bailiff in the courts. So that's gonna take priority. Now, I've never been accused of being a lazy man, so I'm excited and I'm ready for the job. I'm ready to go to work. So once I get there, like I said, do the audit on the precinct and find out what needs to be done, we're gonna get that served, we're gonna get the civil process served, because any delay in civil process is a delay in justice. So that's gonna be the top priority. It's not a hard job. You know, when the information come in from the courts, the papers come in, it's your job to serve it. You gotta get out there and serve it. So that's what I plan to do. Now, I'm eager to work with the sheriff and the chief of police and the other law enforcement agencies in the area to make Grimes County, Navasota, a safer place to live and work your family. I think we all agree that we're all in collaboration and in concert on making that happen. But the top priority, again, is to make sure that the civil process is done, make sure the constable office is in agreement, and then we can address some of these other issues. I'll be happy and, like I say, excited to work with the other law enforcement agencies to fight any crime that may be in our community.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bender, same question to you for 2 minutes. As constable, how do you anticipate balancing time between serving papers, serving as bailiff in the court, and working in the streets?
The time spent in court is out of my control. Trials are what they are. Whenever they tell you to be there or whenever they dismiss you, it is what it is. And we'll be there and we'll take care of that business. Serving the civil paperwork, you have to be strategic and surgical. If a guy worked, say, before, why would I sit out there in his house for 4 hours? Sometimes you have to work at night whenever they come home to serve those papers. And whenever they're not gonna be there, and you know that, do something else, go be proactive. And I tell you, Chief Lyons is a busy man, Sheriff Gonzalez is a busy man, James Ellis is a busy man. If you approach them and say, hey, I wanna work with you, they're like, what do you bring to the table? You have to have something to offer those guys. Again, I've got the experience, I've got the knowledge. Day one, we can all work together to go attack their problems, because their problems are my problems. We're all in this together, the law enforcement guys. I've known these guys for over 20 years. They know what kind of quality cop I am, because I am a cop's cop. Thank you.
Thank you. And Wes Mel, 2 minutes to you now, sir. Same question. As constable, how do you anticipate balancing your time spent between serving papers, serving as bailiff in the court, and working in the streets?
Well, that's probably about the only time I agree with Mr. Bender. Yes, you can't really control the courts on the dates and schedules when they're scheduled and things like that. You have to be there. So yes, when you're done with the courts and jury trials and ancillary dockets and civil dockets and bench trials and all those different things that come within the court system, you have civil process, and it goes in different waves. Where you'll get a lot of one thing, and then you'll get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Also within this county, you have to go serve 2 prisons. Those calls, you have to set up times, you have to set up appointments. You can't just go out to a state penitentiary and say, I'm here to serve papers. So these things do take times. Contrary to Mr. Armstead over there saying it's an easy job, I beg to differ. It's not an easy job. You have writ executions, you have writ of sequestrations, you have writ of possessions. These are things you just can't go to somebody and give it to them and fill out a return. You have to set times, you have to set movers, you have to set this stuff up, and it takes time. So once you get these things of your primary duties lined out and done, then you can go and do the traffic, then you can go do these other things. But those do take time, and sometimes they can take days, not just 10 minutes, not just 5 minutes of approaching somebody and handing them a AG paper. Excuse me? Oh, I thought I heard somebody say something. I apologize. Those things are time consuming at different times. So it's hard to dictate when or say when you can create the different opportunities, because it's based off of what the courts and the papers that they are issuing, not just from this county, but from other counties and from other states. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Bender, we'll begin with you on this question. It is for a 1-minute response, and there are a lot of parts to it. All 3 of you will get the same question, so let me run through this. During your career in law enforcement, have you ever had a grievance or civil rights violation filed against you? Have you ever stepped down, been demoted, or removed from a position, or have you ever been put on a Brady list? If yes, please explain.
Absolutely not to all of them. Again, I served in the Internal Affairs Division for 4.5 years, approximately 4.5 years. You cannot serve in that division with any of those accusations or positive disciplines. The only thing I've ever had was a traffic accident in 30 years, that's it. I've got the cleanest record you can have as a policeman that's been working for 30 years. I've led my life with integrity. I've never, ever been questioned about my integrity. And actually, currently, I have one of the highest security clearances in the country to do what I do. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll go to Mr. Mel for the next on this question. A 1-minute response, sir. During your career in law enforcement, have you ever had a grievance or civil rights violation filed against you? Have you ever stepped down, been demoted, or removed from a position, or have you ever been put on a Brady list? If yes, please explain.
If I have, I've never been made aware of it, so not that I'm aware of.
All right, so thank you very much. Very straightforward. And down now to Mr. Armstead. Same question to you. I can repeat it if you'd like.
Yes, please.
During your career in law enforcement, have you ever had a grievance or civil rights violation filed against you? Have you ever stepped down, been demoted, or removed from a position? Or have you ever been put on a Brady list? If yes, please explain.
No, sir, absolutely not. Actually, it's quite the contrary. I've actually been promoted in every agency that I've been with. But like I said, with the last agency, I was promoted to the first line supervisor as a sergeant, and then I was promoted to intermediate supervisor as a lieutenant, and now I've been promoted to captain, which is administratively.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Armstead, you'll be first. This is for your closing statements. You have 2 minutes, sir.
All right, well, thank you everybody for being here. I feel like Wes Mel and I feel like Gary Bender are qualified for this job. But I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my qualifications to be your next constable. I look forward to working with the community. I look forward to working with the other law enforcement agencies. I look forward to trying to create some programs that we can honor our seniors. You know, a lot of the reason we're able to sit up here at this table today is because the seniors in this community and in this room that have paved the way for us to be where we are. So I'm looking forward to working, trying to create some programs. We'll reach out again. I've heard people talk about grants. Miss Rena, would you stand for me, please? Can you stand for me? Now, Miss Rena may be a small piece of leather, but she's well put together. Her aunt is one of the best grant writers in the state of Texas. So I'll be reaching out and working with her. We're going to see if we can get some funds so we can create some programs for our seniors in this community. And Mike Raska mentioned earlier about the juveniles, the younger people. We're going to see what we can do to get some programs for them. You know, my mission is to try to enhance the quality of life for the people in our precinct. So if given the opportunity, we're going to work very hard to do that. So I want to thank everybody, like I said, for giving me the opportunity to present my qualifications for this position. If my legacy is going to be left, or if I had to leave a legacy, I want it to be your constable for all people. So if I'm blessed and fortunate enough for you to elect me as your next Grimes County Constable, I'll always do the best, most honest job I can do.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bender, 2 minutes to you now, sir, for your closing statement.
First and foremost, thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you for this opportunity to let you know who I am, and let you know what kind of policeman I am, and how I'm going to serve this community. It's an honor and a privilege to be a civil servant. I spent the last 30 years of my life developing education, special skill set to serve and to protect the people of Grimes County. I can't tell you how important it is, what an honor it is to have that bestowed upon you, the trust of the people, to elect you and put you in a position to serve them and to protect you and their children, and to take what's coming in at heart and doing what you're supposed to do as a law enforcement officer. It's been the highlight of my life. The two most profound things in my life has been being a policeman, serving people, and being a father to my children and a husband to my wife. It's been a great ride, and I'll never forget my very first day of patrol. I walked in and I sat down next to Ben Frank, and on our department, each hash mark you have on your arm signifies 5 years, and they started at his wrist and ended at his elbow. And he knew I was brand new. He looked at me, I was all shined up and everything. And he had his glasses on the end of his nose, doing a crossword puzzle, and he looked at me. He said, "Son, first day on the job?" I said, "Yes, sir." "You guys, congratulations. You just won the front seat to the best show in the world." And that's the truest statement I've ever heard a policeman say. We get to see the very best in people. We get to see the very worst. And it's an honor to be a policeman. It'll be an honor to serve as the citizens of Minnesota and Grimes County. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Wes Bell, 2 minutes to you now, sir, for your closing statement.
Thank you. Just like the colleagues have said, thank y'all for coming out tonight. I know it's getting a little bit later. We went past time a little bit, but that's okay. I'm glad everybody stayed to listen to be informed of their candidates and gather information so that they can spread it to friends and family and things of that nature. I'm not going to take up the whole 2 minutes. I just want to say I've enjoyed and been honored to serve as constable for the last close to 9 years. I look forward to continuing to serve the citizens of Grimes County for the next 4. Well, we finish this year and then 4 more years. And so on ending that, I will still be out there in the community and I'll still be involved as much as I can. Just like anybody else, we do have life, we do have kids, we do have things that happen. So once again, thank you. And I'll end with this. It's my favorite slogan of all time. Check yes for Wes.
Thank you, sir. And thank all of you for being here and talking with us tonight. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate everybody being here. I'm sure that the elected officials would love for you to stay and speak with them for a little bit. I want to remind everybody that early voting begins February 20th and the 5th of March is the primary. You can grab your Reagan dinner tickets on the way out, or if you need to register or update your voter registration, you can be right back here. Everybody be safe on the way home, and thank you, Kenny, for all that you did with us.